morning guys, and welcome to Pinery. We're at the little cottage today, and the vlog's going to be a little different because Albi's been pretty sick, so he's not going to be with me. But I thought, since people have been asking a lot of questions about how we're laying out things and what we're actually doing out the back and with the fences and everything, I'd do a bit of a walk around and tour of everything that we've got planned for the acreage and what we're up to, where things are going, so that everyone has a better idea in their head of why we're putting all these fences up and what we're doing. So I'm going to take you for a bit of a tour around the property and show you what our future plans are, what we've got under construction and what we've got coming up. So this is our little cottage. We've probably been at this for 2 years now, just working on weekends and when we can to renovate it. And what I'll do is I'll insert a picture of it when we bought it, because it looks very different, and you'll start to see how much work we've actually done on it, because it was basically unlivable. So I'll put that picture in, and then we'll go for a bit of a tour around the property, and I'll show you what we've got going on and what we've got coming up in the future. So if we go now to the left of the property, I'll show you what we've got over here. Okay guys, so over here on the left hand side of the cottage is going to be where the sheds are going to be that we just got approved. So this will be the side wall of the shed, the small shed, and it goes all the way down here. This peg here. So all along here, there's going to be 5 bays, and this will be the front of the shed. So there'll be 5 roller doors on the front, and it will go back over. That will be to store all of the regular daily drivers and the lawnmowers, the excavator and things like that will all go in this shed here. So this section here will have the shed, and yes, I have put 2 trees in that I'm going to have to pull out and move. So they've got to be relocated. So that's where the small shed's going to go, and then behind that will be the bigger shed. So I'll go and show you where that's going to be located now. This will be the side wall of the large shed. Goes from here, and over across to here. And this one is going to run down the block that way. Okay, so this is the front corner of the big shed. So there'll be 5 metres between the back of the small shed and the side wall of the big shed. So as you can see, this is quite a large shed. It's going to have a lot of bays and a lot of stuff for Albi to restore cars and do what he needs to do in there. So All of these fences that you can see need to be pulled down. This whole area needs to be cleaned up in the next couple of months before the shed arrives, so that we can actually put the sheds up here. So that's what's happening with this space, and this is where the sheds will be in relation to the house. I've got one more thing to show you out the front before we move out the back. Okay, so the deal is wherever I can acquire land, I take it, so that I can plant stuff and put gardens in and flowers and vegetables and that. So over out the front on the left-hand side, opposite the front of the big shed, so opposite that, I'm going to have a garden here. I'm going to have a chicken city, so I'm going to put a chicken coop with a big run, with an orchard and vegetable patch and that. So what I'll be able to do is let the chickens out into the vegetable patch to clean up when I want. So future plan is for this to be a big chicken city here with vegetables and fruit. So that's what this space is earmarked for, and Albi's not allowed to touch it. Up down to those trees there. Behind those trees will be fenced off for a pony paddock. All right, let's start to head round the back. All right guys, so heading out the back, once again, this is the back of the big shed. I have a big roller door here. So a driveway will go down and around to the back fence and around there to the side of the shed. And then there'll be a fence between the shed and the fence of the cat run here. Okay guys, so here is going to be a mesh fence going down there with a gate that you can walk through to go to the sheds. But this will be my cottage garden. It'll be a herb potager garden that'll be here with another mesh fence there, which we're going to go a fence all the way from the corner of the container up. So this will be a little garden area that the dogs and that can't get into. And as the kitties get tamer, we'll be able to let them out of a day in this space so that they can run around in here. And over here, there'll be the container which Albi's going to put a door in, so I can have a she shed at this end, and we'll have storage down the other end. Off that will be a big deck, which we're going to screen in, so the cats will be able to go. We're going to make a tunnel from their cat run up onto the deck, and they can go into the she shed as well. So that's the plans for the cat. This is stage one, and probably, more than likely, Albi will let them into his man cave, which is just there. You have a door to the man cave from there, so he'll be able to let the cats into the man cave and they can play in there as they get tamer. But for now, we're moving them out here, giving them a safe place that we can put them in, because we don't want them roaming around and getting run over or anything happening to them. Looking back towards the house from the cat run, you'll see out the back of Albi's man cave, which he's gonna renovate and put a door out here into the garden space. And then this fence that you see here that goes there, that fence for the yard currently, that is all getting pulled down. So basically the backyard will be extended all the way back to the container, and this bit will be just fenced off with mesh, and I'm going to grow roses and creepers and that on it, have a little gate into it so that I can have this garden space that the dogs can't get into and wreck. Hey guys, so this is the back of the container now. There'll be a drive-through path through there to go over to the shed, and then from here back all the way down near the gate is going to be a big flower garden. So basically I'm going to put a whole heap of flowers in next year, going to move a whole heap of dahlias over here, zinnias, cosmos. I'm going to I've reserved this area to start a flower garden over at this property. So whole heap of flowers going into this space next year. I'm hoping to put a shade house in the middle of it to grow things that aren't as sun tolerant. So in the middle I'll have shade for some of those flowers I want to grow that can't handle this really extreme heat out here. So hopefully we get that up next year, but that's why we've taken all these cactuses out and we're leveling this out, because I want to start preparing this for spring next year. So that's the plan for this area behind the container, down towards near the gate where the driveway comes in, up to where the driveway comes in. This will all be under flowers hopefully next year. Okay guys, so from the container heading back across the property there, we're going to put a fence down over halfway across that paddock, and there'll be a paddock for the little Shetland pony Ebony. She's going to come up here, and then on the far left of the property we're going to fence that into 2 paddocks for Ebony the pony, so that she can have 3 paddocks over that side. So the length of the property beyond those trees is going to be 2 pony paddocks, and then she'll have a stable and a paddock over here just behind the shed. So that's the plans for the other half of the property. So as you can see, and I'm sure you're all aware by now, this is going to be the dog yard. Okay guys, so walking up the front here from the dog run, that pile of junk's going to go. I keep saying that, but just got to get it on the trail and get it to the tip. And we've got my lovely roses that are starting to really kick on now. There, behind there is going to be a drift of perennial and annual cottage flowers. I'm going to do a big cottage flower garden in here. Bought a whole heap of more roses to put throughout the front. So the front garden, I'm hoping, is going to be a big cottage garden, lots of roses, lots of flowers. So all cottage garden here and through there. And here is Albi's fire pit, which he is unwilling to relinquish to me. So the plan is to come out to about here and build a half stone wall. He's going to build a half stone wall around it. So basically create a windbreak so that he can have his fire pit in winter. He can sit there, have a fire, put some chairs around it. And on this side here, he's going to build a little corrugated iron hut here to store firewood and put the chairs in when we're not using them. So there'll be a little hut to store everything in. This is his fireplace area. He's not willing to give this up for garden, so I have to give him some space. That's going to be his little fire pit area for winter. And basically if we walk back this way, is that in shot? Yes. Okay, so you're probably wondering what this is. This is the old septic tank. So at the moment, we're just leaving that as is because we are considering in this space here next to the cottage of putting an extension on and building an old looking barn, which we're hoping to sort of replicate it to look something like an old Australian shearing shed, and have stone wall on it and timber so that it complements the house, but it's never going to, if we tried to build an extension, a modern extension, it wouldn't actually suit the house, we don't think. So we're thinking something like that would still be sympathetic to the design of the house, but this side will probably look like an old barn but more modern inside. And what we're thinking we will do, if we go ahead with these plans, and it's long-term plans, nothing's going to happen soon on this, we want to get everything done first and the cottage finished before we even consider this. We take out that window, put a door in there, and put a nice breezeway through between the two, like a glass house where we can open the doors if it's hot, and basically have a walk through to the barn on this side. So that's long-term plans for this section. That's why we haven't sort of committed to putting any gardens. So this will be just levelled out, kept tidy for now. In the next 2-3 years we'll decide if we're going to go ahead with it or not. If we decide not to do it, this will also get turned into garden. But that's the long-term plan for this, because we find when we've got the whole family here, it is hard to cram everyone in the little cottage. So we're sort of thinking this will make it a much bigger space for the extended family, and the extended family does come up quite often. So let's watch this space, we'll see what happens. But that's what we'd like to do long term with this space. So this is the little cottage you can see here, and we're on the outskirts of the township of Pinery. And if you follow where the tree line is, that's basically to the road you can see now. That is the town. Across the road from us, that's that big farm that you can see across the road. Basically, we have farmland as far as the eye can see towards the right of the cottage and out the front of the cottage. There's our intersection there, hence where Acres and Intersection's got its name from. That's the view out towards the front of the cottage, the big paddock out the front of the cottage there. And you're now looking down our street, which is one of the border streets of the town. If we head over towards the back of the property now, okay, you're basically seeing the back corner of our property there and the road that runs along the back of our property. And if you go towards the other intersection, there's one property that adjoins us, and then on the corner of that intersection there, what you can see now is the old post office that we also own, that my dad lives in. So that post office sits on its own little block on the corner there, and that's on the other side of the town. So as you can see, Pinery itself is a pretty small town. I think there's less than 20 houses in the actual township itself, and it's surrounded by farmland as far as the eye can see. But having said that, Pinery is only an hour's drive from Adelaide, which is our main city. So it's an easy drive, an hour into town to go to work if you were to work in town. So I think it's a bit of a hidden gem, because people think we're miles and miles away from civilization, but we're actually only an hour to the major town. And any of the little satellite towns, we're probably only 20-25 minutes away from major department stores and that. And our little town down the road, Mallala or Owen, they're only like a 10-minute drive away. So this is our little cottage at Pinery. Okay guys, so that is a bit of a tour of the little cottage. That's a look over what our plans are for the next year or two as far as the outside goes. Give you a bit of a look of Pinery and where we sit in this little tiny town. And Albi surfaced. He's really not doing well because he started his second round of medication for his MS, and it has really kicked him in the butt. So he's had a bit of a bad week, haven't you?
Yep.
But,
And shit.
yeah, he'll be back at it hopefully in a week or two. He's just taking it easy. He just needs to. All of his blood levels, they did all these tests and his immunity's shot. So he's just got to take it easy for a while and then he'll be back up and at it. But in the meantime, he's still plodding away doing the fence and the cat run and that because he can't help himself. So hopefully in next week's vlog, you should be able to see pretty much a finished product on the cat run. I'm so excited to get them in their cat run and show you the most over-engineered cat run in South Australia.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you have a great week. Stay safe and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you to all of those people that have subscribed to the channel. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing because it really helps out the channel and follow along on the journey with us. And if you're looking for something to watch, consider going over and having a look at Morrigan's Cottage, which is a little cottage, a young lady in Ireland that she's doing it herself. We call her the Irish Chloe because she reminds us so much of our daughter Chloe. And go out and check her out. She's doing it all on her own and she's got a great channel there. So I'll link her channel in our description so you can go and check her out and tell her that we sent you over and said hi. So catch you all next week, guys. Thanks.
See you guys. Stay tuned.